Imagine the American South, a world of unimaginable hardship. For enslaved people, food wasn't just survival, it was a defiant act of hope. Tonight, we explore the incredible ingenuity that turned meager rations into nourishing meals. These 20 survival foods tell a powerful story of resilience. Number 1. Our first survival food is a testament to resourceful simplicity: cornmeal mush. Cornmeal mush was a humble yet vital dish on plantations. Made by boiling cornmeal in water until it thickened, it provided warmth and energy for long days of grueling labor. With no sugar or milk at hand, it was plain yet filling with a subtle, earthy taste. Some would fry the leftovers into crispy cakes the next morning, adding variety to otherwise meager meals. Beyond just food, it was survival, proof that even with almost nothing, enslaved people created sustenance that carried them through unimaginable hardship. It speaks of the quiet comfort found in a warm bowl, even in the coldest of times. Number 2. Next, we turn to the resourceful use of a readily available crop: sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes were a cornerstone of the enslaved diet, offering a natural sweetness and much-needed calories. They could be roasted directly in the ashes of a fire, their skins charring to a perfect crisp, while the inside became soft and fragrant. Sometimes they were boiled or even pounded into a coarse flour for baking. Imagine the comforting aroma wafting through a small cabin, a fleeting moment of warmth and sweetness in a harsh existence. These golden tubers weren't just food, they were a source of vital energy and a touch of natural delight, often cultivated in small, allowed garden plots, offering a measure of control and pride. Number 3. Another ingenious staple often scorned by others, but cherished for its sustenance: hog maw. Hog maw, the stomach lining of a hog, might sound unappealing to modern palates, but it was a prized source of protein and flavor. It was meticulously cleaned, seasoned with whatever meager spices were available, perhaps a wild onion or a stolen bit of salt, and then slow-cooked, often with vegetables like collard greens until tender. This long cooking process infused the meat with a rich, savory aroma that promised a hearty meal. It represents the ultimate nose-to-tail philosophy, ensuring no part of an animal went to waste, embodying a deep respect for every morsel and the ingenuity to transform it. Number 4. From the forests and fields came a vital source of protein: squirrel and rabbit. Hunting small game like squirrel and rabbit was not just a way to supplement meager rations, it was often a skill passed down through generations, a quiet act of self-reliance. These animals were usually stewed or roasted over an open fire, their lean meat providing essential protein. Imagine the crackling of the fire, the hushed anticipation as a family gathered, sharing a rare and hard-won meal. These hunts represented moments of freedom and agency, brief escapes into the woods where skills honed over generations provided not just food, but a sense of purpose and a connection to ancestral traditions. Number 5. A humble but powerful green, often foraged from the wild: pokeweed. Pokeweed, or poke salad, was a wild green that grew abundantly, providing much-needed vitamins and minerals. However, it required careful preparation, as the raw plant can be toxic. Enslaved people learned to boil the young shoots through several changes of water, draining and rinsing each time to render it safe and delicious. Often mixed with a bit of cured pork for flavor, it offered a bitter yet satisfying taste of the wild. This knowledge of the land passed down orally was a form of silent resistance, a way of extracting nourishment directly from the earth, independent of the plantation's meager provisions. Number 6. A versatile and nourishing grain, often grown in secret: rice. While many plantations grew rice as a cash crop, enslaved people often cultivated small patches for themselves, or managed to glean what they could from the fields. Rice was incredibly versatile, boiled plain, mixed with vegetables, or used to stretch out more expensive ingredients. In the Low Country particularly, it was a culinary cornerstone, echoing the rice cultures of West Africa. Imagine the rhythmic stirring of a pot of rice, each grain a tiny vessel of history, connecting them to a homeland they might never see, yet remembering in every comforting spoonful. Number 7. A crucial source of fat and flavor: salt pork. Salt pork was a common ration, though often of poor quality, but in the hands of enslaved cooks it became a flavorful cornerstone. A small piece could be rendered down to create drippings for frying vegetables or flavoring a pot of greens, imparting a rich, smoky saltiness. The remaining bits of crispy pork were often savored on their own. It speaks to the mastery of extracting maximum flavor and sustenance from even the most basic and unappealing ingredients, a testament to culinary alchemy born of necessity. Number 8. From the water, a rare and welcome addition to the diet, catfish. Fishing, often done at night or during stolen moments, was another vital way to supplement rations. Catfish, abundant in southern waterways, was a prized catch. It was typically fried in cornmeal, creating a crispy exterior and a tender, flaky interior. The simple act of fishing offered a brief respite, a quiet communion with nature, and the promise of a fresh, protein-rich meal. Imagine the joy, the almost celebratory atmosphere, when a successful catch meant a rare feast for a family or community. A memory etched with the taste of freedom and fresh water. Number 9. A humble vegetable that provided essential nutrition. Collard greens. Collard greens were a ubiquitous and essential vegetable, often grown in small garden plots alongside cabins. Slow cooked for hours with a piece of salt pork or ham hock, they transformed into a tender, flavorful dish rich in vitamins. The pot liquor, the savory liquid left in the pot, was often considered as valuable as the greens themselves, used for dipping cornbread or drunk for its nutrients. This communal dish speaks of shared meals, of families gathered around a humble table, finding strength and comfort in the deep, earthy flavors of the land. Number 10. A simple bread made from the most basic ingredients, ash cake. Ash cakes were perhaps the most ancient and direct form of bread. Made from cornmeal mixed with water and a pinch of salt, this dough was shaped into flat cakes and cooked directly in the hot ashes of a fireplace. The exterior would become slightly charred and smoky, while the inside remained soft and warm. This primitive method required no pans or ovens, just the fire and skilled hands. It evokes images of secret night gatherings, of hungry hands breaking off pieces of warm, smoky bread. A primal form of sustenance echoing traditions from Africa. Number 11. A resourceful use of leftover greens. Pepper pot soup. Pepper pot soup was a hearty, spicy stew, often made from leftover collard greens, turnip greens, or whatever vegetables were at hand, simmered with a bit of meat and plenty of hot peppers. It was a dish of reinvention, ensuring no precious food went to waste. This simmering pot, fragrant with spices, represents the resourcefulness of enslaved cooks, turning scraps into a warming, filling meal that brought comfort on a cold evening. It's a testament to the ability to stretch ingredients and create something flavorful from almost nothing. Number 12. A quick and nourishing cornmeal variation. Hoe cakes. Hoe cakes were another ingenious cornmeal preparation, similar to pancakes but cooked on a shovel or hoe over an open fire, hence their name. Made from cornmeal, water, and salt, they were thin, crispy, and easily portable. They provided quick energy for field workers and were a versatile base for other foods. Imagine the sizzle as they cooked, the aroma of toasted cornmeal filling the air, a simple yet satisfying meal that could be carried into the fields, a portable piece of comfort in a day of endless labor. Number 13. A naturally occurring sweet treat. Persimmons. Wild persimmons, when fully ripe and soft, offered a rare and natural sweetness. Foraging for these fruits in the fall and winter was a small pleasure, a moment of connection with nature. They could be eaten fresh or even dried for later use. This simple fruit, often overlooked, provided not just calories but a precious taste of sweetness, a reminder of nature's bounty and a brief respite from the bitterness of their daily lives. Imagine the joy of finding a tree laden with soft, ripe fruit, a gift from the earth. Number 14. Another source of wild meat, often caught in traps. Possum. Possum, though less common than rabbit or squirrel, was another source of protein, especially for those skilled in trapping. It was often slow roasted or stewed, sometimes with sweet potatoes, creating a rich and flavorful dish. While not a frequent meal, it was a significant one when it occurred. This speaks to the depth of knowledge about the land and its resources, a quiet mastery of survival in the wilderness that went far beyond what was provided by their captors. Number 15. A simple but effective fishing method provided eels. Eels were another readily available source of protein from rivers and streams. They could be caught with simple traps or lines and were often stewed or fried. Their rich, oily flesh provided much-needed calories. The act of catching eels, often by hand, speaks to an intimate knowledge of the waterways and the creatures within them. Another example of how enslaved people maximized every natural resource available to them, turning the bounty of the land into sustenance. Number 16. A versatile and nutrient-rich legume, black-eyed peas. Black-eyed peas, brought from Africa, were a staple crop that thrived in the southern climate. They were a vital source of protein and fiber, often cooked simply with a piece of salt pork or ham hock, creating a hearty and satisfying stew. This humble legume, deeply rooted in African culinary traditions, provided not just nourishment but a powerful cultural link, connecting them to their ancestral lands and carrying forward a legacy of flavor and resilience. Imagine the comfort of a warm bowl, a taste of home in a foreign land. Number 17. A simple yet essential fat, lard. Lard, rendered from pork fat, was a crucial cooking medium and a source of calories. It was used for frying, baking, and enriching dishes, adding much-needed fat to a lean diet. The process of rendering lard was a communal activity, ensuring that every part of a slaughtered hog was utilized. This precious fat speaks to the economics of survival, to the careful management of every resource, ensuring that every calorie counted and contributed to the strength needed to face another day. Number 18. From the garden, a versatile and abundant squash, calabash, African squash. While pumpkins and common squash were grown, enslaved communities sometimes cultivated varieties of calabash or African squash, brought over from their homeland. These versatile gourds could be stewed, baked, or even used as vessels once dried. They provided essential vitamins and fiber, connecting them to familiar tastes and agricultural practices from Africa. Imagine the pride in nurturing these plants, a small patch of familiar soil echoing traditions and providing a taste of heritage. Number 19. A simple yet potent flavor enhancer, wild onions and garlic. Foraging for wild onions, ramps, or wild garlic was a common practice to add flavor to otherwise bland meals. These pungent bulbs, growing freely in the woods, provided a much-needed zing and a touch of medicinal benefit. The ability to identify and harvest these wild edibles speaks to a deep knowledge of the natural world, a form of self-sufficiency that circumvented the limited provisions of the plantation. These small additions transformed meals, making them not just filling but flavorful and comforting. Number 20. A valuable source of protein and essential fats, peanuts. Peanuts, originating from South America and brought to Africa before arriving in the Americas, were cultivated by enslaved people in their small gardens. They could be roasted, boiled, or even pounded into a crude paste. Rich in protein and fat, they provided a dense source of energy. Imagine the sweet, earthy aroma of roasted peanuts, a quiet treat shared amongst families, a testament to the ability to cultivate and transform raw ingredients into nourishing and enjoyable food, bridging continents through a humble legume. The survival foods of enslaved people on plantations tell a story far deeper than mere sustenance. They are a profound testament to an unyielding spirit, a vibrant cultural legacy, and the boundless creativity born from the harshest of circumstances. These meals, forged from ingenuity and resilience, nurtured bodies, but more importantly, they sustained hope, preserved culture, and laid the foundations for what would become core elements of African American cuisine. As we reflect on these humble ingredients and ingenious preparations, let us not see them as forgotten relics, but as powerful reminders of extraordinary strength, unwavering resourcefulness, and the enduring human capacity to find dignity and meaning, even when stripped of almost everything. May these survival foods always inspire us to honor the past and to celebrate the rich, flavorful heritage that blossomed from the deepest soil of human endurance.